Just about a week ago, I brought you guys a video and an article over on ShaneCraig.tech where we talked about the rumors that Google is about to make the Pixel 10 series of devices a little bit heavier than the Pixel 9 devices, kind of bucking the industry trends towards thinness and lightness. Specifically, when it comes to the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, you're going to be looking at 10.8 millimeters when closed and 5.2 millimeters when opened, and a pretty hefty 258 grams. When we're living in a world where the Z Fold 7 is 215 grams and less than 9 millimeters thick when closed, it does definitely seem like Google is doing their own thing here. Now, one of the big reasons for this that we talked about in that video is the fact that Google is increasing the size of the batteries in pretty much literally in all of these devices. 5,200 milliamp hours in the Pro XL, over 5,000 milliamp hours now in the Pro Fold. That puts it like 600 milliamp hours bigger than the Z Fold 7. And a lot of you in that video's comments said, this is exactly what I want. I think that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is thin and light enough as it is. Look, it's not like some brick by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely thicker than the Z Fold 7, and it's definitely heavier than the Z Fold 7. But a lot of you said, I don't care. It's good enough. I want a larger battery, so I like what Google is doing. But today, in a new series of leaks from Evan Blass on Twitter, we have maybe another really good reason why Google is bucking that industry trend and is okay with their Pixel 10 devices being a little bit heavier than the Pixel 9. So in a series of images which appear to be leaked marketing material, we got images of the devices which don't really show us anything that we didn't already know before, but we also got these little spec sheets that I think actually do tell us some fairly interesting things. So really quickly, let me tell you about this, and then we're going to talk about why the devices might be getting thicker. It's kind of this whole, burying the lead thing that I like to do, but I think this stuff is interesting as well. So for the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, we are keeping the same verbiage here. Multi-alloy steel hinge with aerospace-grade, high-strength aluminum alloy cover. They basically said the exact same thing with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. So again, kind of leaning into this idea that the 10 is not that different from the 9. However, despite the fact that they are pumping that battery up even larger, they are sticking with 72-hour battery life with Extreme Battery Saver. So it's a bigger battery, but even with Extreme Battery Saver, they're rating it to be the same. Now, that doesn't mean that when you get the thing, that real-world normal use, the battery life isn't better. I expect that it will be. The Tensor G5 should be a much more efficient processor. 3-nanometer process should make a big difference, and the battery is bigger. What's interesting, though, is the other devices now say 100-hour battery life with Extreme Battery Saver. So they got bumped up. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is staying the same. If we stay on this page, this is for the Pixel 10 standard, the base model, which is now getting a telephoto camera, and it's the same telephoto that we have in the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, at least if the leaks are to be believed, and I think that this indicates that they probably are, because it says Super Res Zoom up to 20x. That's the same limit that you have on the 9 Pro Fold. So another little drop in that bucket indicating it's probably the same telephoto sensor, which is fine. It's not as good as you get on the Pro models, but it's definitely a whole lot better than no zoom at all. And if we're being honest, it's probably better than the zoom on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 in quite a few different ways, so that is definitely worth noting. All right, why are they getting thicker? One of the last images that Evan posted was this, and what you're seeing here is a Pixel 10 model with some sort of magnetic charging puck, like what Apple uses, attached to the back of the device. And if you are looking closely, you may notice there's no case on this device. This pretty clearly indicates to me that the Pixel 10 series of devices will have the Qi2 magnet built into the device itself, and it won't be part of a case accessory that you have to put on the device. So we had seen reporting about this from Android Authority back in June. Apparently it's going to be called Pixel Snap, And, hopefully there's going to be several different accessories here, like a charger with stand, and a ring stand. And of course, all of your other MagSafe compatible accessories should work just fine. You guys know that I have a whole bunch of little magnetic grips back there, a battery bank back there as well. In theory, these should just attach to your device, again, with no case required. All these other devices that I use these things with, I have to put, like a thin-borne case with that MagSafe ring on it, on the device, in order to use these things. But with this, I could put my favorite thing, the D-brand leather skin. You can see how it's already beginning to patina a little bit. Absolutely love it. I could put this on here, and the ring is in the device. I could just put the accessories on top of that, and it should work fine. Editor Shane with a thought that I need to quickly insert my air conditioners on, and I don't feel like getting up, so I'll deal with it for about 30 seconds. It is entirely possible that this is happening with the slab phones and not with the fold. The fold has to be still very thin when open, so it's entirely possible that that Qi ring might not be able to fit in the fold model. Maybe it's just the slabs. We need to temper our expectations on this one. I think if we're making the correct leap of logic based on this image, which I don't really know what else you could possibly think that this could mean, I think that it indicates yet another way where Google is just not really all that concerned with what most of the industry is doing. Like I just said, everyone is going for thinner and lighter. Apple's making an iPhone Air. Samsung's got their Edge. Google is like, we don't care about any of that. We're going to just make a device that we think is thin and light enough for most people. I think it's where people are fine with it. But people do really care about their battery life, and people do really seem to like their MagSafe accessories. So we're going to do that as well. We're going to build that in to our device. I absolutely love what they're doing, even if I do still have my reservations about the Pixel 10 series of devices. The Pixel Fold will be the one I will be interested in getting. And like I've told you in a couple of videos, I do have my reservations about that device. I'm going to need to see something pretty wild in terms of software capabilities and or a price drop to probably warrant me spending more money on a device this year. I do have to admit, I kind of think it's cool watching Google march to the beat of their own drum, even if, look, I get it, they're doing MagSafe and that's not their own drum, but you know what I mean. It's been years and no other Android OEM has done this, so in that regard, they are marching to the beat of their own drum. Look at Material 3 Expressive. That is Google through and through. Everyone else is like, ooh, we're going to do liquid glass and transparencies and all these things. And Google's like, yeah, a little bit of transparency, some soft blur, but like, no, we're still doing Material 3 stuff. We're kind of still doing our own thing. And I think it's absolutely great. So hopefully this is more stuff that kind of gets people excited for the Pixel 10 devices. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Is this something that you're excited about? Would you use these things? Would you potentially use your phone with no case if you can put a grip on the back of it and maybe that prevents you from dropping it? I think I definitely would, although that's, really not a surprise to anybody because I basically already do that now. But nonetheless, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.